Today I'm going to give you a lesson on how to use track changes. If you're in Word, Microsoft Office Word, if you will go up to the top where it says review when you open your document, you will see track changes. Mine's a slightly older version, and so I have to go down here and select it. Some of them it will say on or off when you look at track changes. And I always check. Track changes should make something in red if you delete it. And so it didn't, but if you go click on this little red bar over here, then it will make the corrections, as you can see. Okay, so to begin this paper, Why Me? A Blessing in Disguise. To start going through the paper, um, here is a quote to start off with. Oh my gosh, she better not tell me that I have cancer. This was the first thought that came to mind after receiving a call at 4:58 p.m. from my doctor that dark, chilly Tuesday night on November 25th, 2014. Okay, so here's something to let you know. AM and PM, it is correct both capitalized or lowercase. If you do need to have the periods though with it so that it is AM and PM, and same way if it's lowercase. Why had this been my first thought? I don't know. All I know is, and here's one thing that we can do. If you can take the word that out and the sentence still makes sense, do, because we overuse it an awful lot. So I'm going to take this one out. All I know is I felt my life get pulled away from under me when my doctor said, I am sorry, there is no easy way to say this, but you have cancer. I looked at my doctor in disbelief, a tall, slender woman with short, dark brown hair and dark, black-rimmed glasses looking back at me with such sympathy. My body went lifeless, my hands went up and over my face and stayed there for a few minutes while I silently let tears run down my face, down my cheeks into my mouth, and clear down my chin and onto my neck as this huge knot in my throat kept getting larger and larger. Never in my life had I experienced such a tremendous, agonizing knot in my throat. When I finally reacted, I looked up at this person, nodded towards her, and with a completely unexpected huge grin on my face, I asked, how much time do I have? The grin stemming from nothing but pure fear and anger. As she shrugged her shoulders, she moved her head towards her right shoulder. Hands crossed in front of her, she answered, maybe 5 years. Okay, so here's a rule that we're going to go over. Digits that are less than 3, so anything 100 is 3 digits. So 99 and below, you need to type out the numbers unless it begins a sentence. So we're going to type 5 here. It took seconds for me to grasp what the doctor was telling me, but at that point in time, it seemed as if everything she was saying was in slow motion. Unbelievable, untrue. How dare she say these words to me? Doesn't she know what this is going to do to my family, my husband, my kids, my children, my whole world as I know it? Now, here's something. We call them kids. Technically, it's slang, and so for writing for composition class, it would be considered formal writing. So you don't want slang in there. So my children, my grandchildren, my whole world as I knew it or know it. I felt my blood rushing through my body and my heart beat racing at a pace I had never experienced before. Again, we can take that extra that out. Now here's another one, through. This is correct. It is also correct THROUGH. The more formal, you're going to be THROUGH. As I stood still, trying to comprehend what my doctor had just said, the room in which I was standing in started going in circles faster and faster and faster. Each time, I could hear her talking faintly in the background about tests and appointments for confirmation of the news. Those terrible, terrible words that she had just spoken. I have cancer. How? Why? I mean, I eat healthy, I stay active, I don't drink, I don't smoke. How can I have cancer? Okay, now here's a writing strategy. Because we're building suspense, if you have short sentences like how I read it, so you can change this up and make these several short sentences and it will help build suspense. So right here, we're going to put how and then why. I mean, I eat healthy, period. I stay active, period. I don't drink, period. I don't smoke. How can I have cancer? So if we do it that way, there are a bunch of short sentences like a staccato, and it packs punch to it, and also build up because it's horrible to realize that you have been diagnosed with cancer. My whole body went into panic mode. My mind didn't want to comprehend it, and at the same time would not accept the words that had just hit me. No warning, no gently put, no nothing, and just like that, my life changes forever. As I drove home, the night seemed so dark, so very dark, and so very cold and unfriendly. I got out of my vehicle and headed for the front door to my house, wondering how I was going to break the news to my husband. I walked in, kissed both of my precious grandkids, so grandchildren, ages 2 and 3. So we're going to change this to children. And type out numbers, 3 digits or less. And on their foreheads as they played on the living room floor, greeted my daughter, who was sitting on the living room sofa laughing about a story she had told her dad. I smiled and asked my husband if I could speak with him in private, my body shaking, my mouth twitching, not knowing how to say it, not wanting to say it. I held his warm hands and told him the findings. We cried all night in each other's arms. Okay, so here's the question. I know you did you go into your bedroom? Did you, what did you tell him, or what did you finally say, or what was his reaction? So in here, when you put conversation in, it really shows character and tells what people are or how they handled it. So here, I'm going to put a note. And so if I want to go back up here, I can put it in as a note or a comment. So I can put this comment here, and let's get it down here where it belongs. Review and comment. And so I want to put it in here. Can you write what you said to your husband, and what was his reply? And I would assume you had told your daughter then, who was out in the other room at this time. And how did you tell your daughter? The conversations Okay, so what I put in here, if you have conversations, it does really show a person's character. How you go from disbelieving to very, very supportive of a person, their reaction, but then also how strong you were because you had to tell them and what you said or how that you handled it. So again, all of this would come out in that conversation that you would have had here in revealing that you have had cancer. you continue then about with all the scans and everything that had to be done and getting set up for the surgery date. And then here, wanting your 10, which is a number less than 3 digits. And then in surgery, and here is 5. And then starting the chemo and radiation. And now this 100 you can leave, but this 5 we want to take out then again. And then here was the effects of everything. And then your family and the connection with them, and now that you have been cancer free for 4 years. Okay, so the thing is that, here again, as you are going through the treatments and how you feel, again, what, what were you thinking? What were some of those conversations that family members had with you or that you had with them? Or, like one of your very bleak days, what is something that you might have said to your husband, or one of your daughter might have said to cheer you up or to try and help you get through it? Um, those would, again, help here, showing your struggle with this and how strong you were, or getting pulled down, and then how you would try to bounce back or talk yourself into it with the support of your family members. So if you could add some of that here, again, that would do a little bit to lend, some more character to you and your family members. So when you are done, if you will go up here and do File, Save As, and I'm just going to save it on my desktop. You would save it like to a file, so you would hit Browse. And a lot of times what I do, so people know that I have proofreaded or gone through it, I put dot and CG for sea green because, I have gone over it. And then I save it. And then when I open my email, then I attach this into the email and it will go to that person. So when you get it, you will go back and do opposite. You open it up, you go here to review, and you look at all of the markups that are in there, and then you can accept it or reject it. So you accept each one. It's like spell check. It goes from each one of those things that would have been marked, and you can accept it. Yes, I do need a comma there, or yes, I do need to spell out the number 5, and so you accept. If you know that there should not have been a comma there and someone has put it in, then you would reject it, and it takes it out, and it just keeps moving through your paper, like I said, like spell check. And then when you get done, if you go back up here, and sometimes you'll have those little marks over here at the side of your paper, the column where there was a comment or something done. If you go back up to here and where it says show markup, and oops, sorry, no markup, and it'll take those all out, and then you have a clean paper and you can print it. Thank you.